r/ask Reddit. What are we living in the golden age of? The ease of listening to music is pretty incredible right now. Straight up, I was chatting with a mate from work last night, and we were swapping all these international artists over Spotify on our phones. Then in a few swipes we were checking out the yearly calendars of gigs in our area. It's actually incredible how easy it is to discover amazing music now. I was into punk rock mid-90s. You had to hunt for records, actual records, and you had to travel. I lived in Northern Virginia. The good stuff was in Georgetown. Entertainment. There's so much. No one could ever do, play, or watch everything there is that serves no other purpose than to entertain a person. Not just entertainment, it's literally the golden age of everything. There's a good chance that human comfort has peaked in the early 21st century, that in 50 or 100 years there may not be access to enough food, fresh water, jobs, worldwide transportation, access to information, free speech and democracy, or even safety in modern civilization. Our global economy isn't sustainable. It's fueled by cheap labor, cheap fuel, and global ecology that may cease to exist in our lifetimes, leading to mass starvation, poverty and war. We need to be pushing hard to fix the planet, literally all hands on deck, making whatever sacrifices necessary to ensure that our planet is livable for the 1 billion plus humans on the planet at risk of famine, starvation from poor crop production and low freshwater resources caused by global warming. We need to start pushing our leaders and governments hard, or this whole human civilization experiment is literally going to go up in smoke, possibly during our lifetimes. We're in a gilded age, not a golden age. Consumerism and instant gratification. Upvote. Dopamine rush. Why do people think I'm addicted to Reddit? It's all for that sweet dopamine rush when I open my phone in the morning and see 24 replies in my inbox. Remote work. We got it during the pandemic and now we need to make it the norm. The ability to make good money and live anywhere is a luxury that was hard to imagine just 10 years ago. Businesses that harness remote work will outperform office-centric businesses. Imagine all the capital that can go towards expanding the business instead of towards real estate. And you seriously save on HR troubles. No chance of workplace drama. Artistic creation. As a musician born in the early 1970s, I'm constantly astounded how cheap and easy it is to record and release high quality music. People be digging up funky sounding electronics from tech antiques and making music out of a 90s office printer. That genre is called officecore. The shows are ducking wild bro. The golden age for scammers. Brand new outlets, brand new scams, absolutely zero education on how to defend yourself against them. Genuinely, it's a scammer paradise right now. My mother's friend sent someone $5,000 in gift cards a couple weeks ago. People tried to talk some sense into her, but she was convinced Microsoft needed to be paid in gift cards. Board games. I never knew how many amazing board games there were until my co-worker took me to a board game cafe. I thought maybe she was just a huge fan of like Monopoly or some shit. Not even close. Like $10 to play as many games as you wanted for as long as you wanted. They had multiple huge bookshelves full of games. Hundreds of games. Easily. Funny enough, they did not actually have Monopoly. Said it causes too many fights. Can't argue there. There's every kind of game you could possibly imagine, and many that you couldn't even imagine. Simple games, intricate complex games, crazy games, weird games, stupid games. Many had extremely robust storylines which made them super engaging. Probably the most fun I've ever had playing board games. There was something for everyone, whether you like farming or highways. The assortment was insane. I never knew this world existed, but I'm so glad I know now. Shit is way too much fun. I never knew how many amazing board games there were until my co-worker took me to a board game cafe. I thought maybe she was just a huge fan of like Monopoly or some shit. I never knew this world existed, but I'm so glad I know now. Shit is way too much fun. In college I started hanging out with people who were really into board games. And I too first thought it was games like Monopoly and Life and Clue. I had so much fun discovering and playing games with them. Years later most of us had moved away and stuff, and I didn't have anyone to play with. I started getting games that could be played solo. which was especially good when 2020 happened. I have new board game friends and we play pretty much every Saturday and just started doing D&D on Tuesdays. Phones and depression. I'm sad, guys. I feel like something deep inside is missing. I don't know what it is. I think I may be really depressed. Anyway, thanks for listening. Stop saying this shit in the clan chat and do your war attack or you will never make Elder. Ahahaha. Here is a reward. Ass. The 90s zeros, everyone was trying to have small asses. The phrase "does my bum look big in this" was so common it was a cliche. Now it's the reverse. Plus yoga pants are considered normal fashion. Bikini bottoms have gotten way smaller and are worn way higher. Is truly is the golden age. Edit. It's not even just that yoga pants are popular. There has been significant innovation in making yoga pants more flattering by adding reinforcement and elastic in strategic places. There are people out there being paid to research making asses look good. Yoga pants today are significantly more advanced than yoga pants of just a few years ago. The golden age of ass really does sum up the world right now in multiple ways. Whoever decided that yoga pants are now considered normal fashion deserves a goddamn Nobel Prize. Porn of Loyalphans, Instagram, TikTok etc are just full of people making X-rated content or thirst traps. Man, you used to have to go to dedicated sites for porn, but you can get it anywhere these days. It's crazy to think about how the average dude with a smartphone has probably seen more titties in his lifetime than Genghis Khan ever saw, and he is remembered for having seen, like, a historically significant number of titties. There is a difference between touching titties and seeing them though. Entertainment. It's wild. I'm overwhelmed by my choices when it comes to picking out shows, movies to watch, music to listen to, fashion and other trends to follow. It's definitely unsustainable though. It's amazing but also a little scary how addicted to entertainment we are. So many of my high schoolers seem emotionally numb and become so agitated and distressed when away from some form of entertainment for too long. Yet I can never find anything to watch and just end up watching 10+ year-old movies I've seen dozens of times. Disinformation. Today is nothing compared to the past. Rulers made up their own history, religion and truths, and there were no books or internet available to even see an alternative. The real issue is too much information. I dunno, Metal Gear Solid 2 had a pretty solid idea about this. Beer. Amazing microbreweries have proliferated over the past 25 years in the US. Sometime I get choice paralysis at my local liquor store. This is right on, I recall, and then try to forget, a time when your options at a bar included Bud, Miller, and Coors, and the most exotic beer you'd find at the supermarket was Keystone Light Ice. I went to a pub with friends this weekend and one got indignant that they only had 10 beers and 3 ciders on tap, and this pub wasn't even trying to be craft. On the other hand, this trend has introduced a whole new group of insufferable beer snobs to the world. I don't understand why it's gotta be IPA after IPA. Those things taste like hairspray. Why aren't brown ales and sours more available? Self-education. YouTube should be remembered as important of an invention as the television. We can teach ourselves almost anything, watching enough videos and reading about it online. This is important. I find the people who grew up with YouTube are more likely to self-start and go looking for a tutorial explanation when they want to educate themselves. Whenever I tell my mother I'm interested in learning something, she thinks I should go and do a course. When something needs fixing, you call someone. I'm currently taking a free and complete human behavioral biology course on YouTube, a full 25-class Stanford course, for free, and I'm about to fix my built-in coffee machine knowing exactly what parts to buy and how to install them for a specific issue. In what other time has education and information been so easily accessible to the masses? Doing stupid shit for fake internet points. Edit. Someone gave this the Burning Money Award. 10 out of 10. Have my upvote. Combustion engines, they are at their most efficient, brought on by the push towards hybrids and electric, and the rising cost of fuel. Factory delivered 4-cylinder, 2-liter engines are over 400 horsepower now, with a warranty, and they still do 40 miles per gallon. So I think we're in the golden age of the combustion engine, which will be slow and drawn out, giving way to the new age of electronic, hybrid, and perhaps even hydrogen powered vehicles. They are at their most efficient, brought on by the push towards hybrids and electric, and the rising cost of fuel. I feel like emission standards and targets are one of the biggest reason for the great efficiency. Mainly the EU's emission targets, which change often to be lower and cause actual big fines per car sold if you're over the targets. The rate of the drop in emissions per km driven significantly increased from around 2005 to 2020 or so because manufacturers had strict 2020 targets to reach. The next target is another 15% drop by 2025, but that's a very easy target because EVs will bring the average down by that much without combustion engine cars changing at all. New targets are pointless if non-EVs won't be sold after 2030. Reboots. S. Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Top Gun, the Soviet Union. It's mostly great. Wait a minute. The golden age of willful ignorance. We have the collective knowledge of humanity available to us in our pockets, and it honestly feels like people are dumber because of it. Why remember anything when you can simply Google it? I can forgive people for not remembering every piece of information humans have ever created. But even with information so instantly and easily available, people still refuse to use it. I have been in so many disputes with someone about something before I say, well, why don't we just look it up? And a lot of times I get crazy looks about it. Why would we ever argue about some trivial ass fact when we can settle it in a matter of seconds? Unfortunately, school shootings. What a time to be Ali. Wait a sec. Communication. We may have the ability for effective and meaningful communication, but not the desire. What? Memes. I have no idea why, but I consider 2018 to have been the best year for memes and internet culture in general. The perfect blend of cringe and awesomeness. 2016 to 2018 was the big years for sure. Foots that need to go in asses. Hey Red. Cheap flights, and be happy. Look it up. Historically, we pay so much less adjusted for inflation and have the ability to fly anywhere for so much less. Gas goes up, demand goes up, holiday weekends are expensive, but in the end Joe can fly, average, coast to coast for $500 versus $10k in 1960. Correction, cheaper flights. Most people still can't afford to fly around the world, and $500 is still very much out of reach for the average person. Narcissism. I can't believe you would say that about me. I'm the least narcissistic person I've had the pleasure to know, but I guess someone like you wouldn't understand. Step-sibling porn. This has gotten out of control, quite honestly. Just the other night my wife and I were searching for something to watch and we had to go through 3 pages before finding normal porn. I shit you not. It was stepdad couldn't resist me, and then stepmom wanted my huge coke, followed by shared stepbro with my best friend, or stepsis begs me to come in her like. What the duck? Some 60 odd videos of the same lame-ass titles plot. Don't get me wrong. I like porn and I'm glad my wife does too. But Jesus. How can an entire industry be stuck in the same rut? I suppose you could argue that all original ideas have been used up, but these step themes have been done to death. My wife teased me once because all the porn I had when we met was old. My retort was, at least these have some sort of plot story that you can follow. Yep, the acting sucked, but let's be realistic. Nobody's watching for the acting. The golden age of misinformation and sensory overload. Never before had humans had to deal with so much information thrown at them. Every time you put effort into discrediting an information piece as a fake, 10x the amount gets thrown at you again before you finished. No matter how much effort you put into sorting truth from fake, you will never keep up until at some point you either give up and accept information as is, or withdraw from letting information reach you. Food delivery when you're unable to drive at the moment. I got my favorite burrito from my favorite Mexican place in less than half an hour tonight. The fees weren't terrible this time, even with tip. Television. We have multiple streaming services vying for domination, and they are doing it by putting out the best content possible. Eventually things will consolidate, normalize, and produce more mediocre programming. Enjoy it while it lasts. The golden age of television has come and gone. If anything, it's regressing very quickly. only in terms of access to quantity. Streaming services have definitively created systems of perverse incentives in television and film production which have ruined any driving incentives for quality and made it difficult to get high quality films made. Physical media purchases drove the golden age of film, and it's in the past unfortunately. Watch Matt Damon explain it while eating spicy wings. Materialism. I'm determined to keep driving my 20-year-old truck just to show the Genesis I don't care about their new ones. Unplastic waste. Disconnection. We are more connected than ever before, but simultaneously disconnected. Porn. Some of y'all will never know the struggles of hiding magazines or dial-up internet. I'd say cleanliness when compared to past ages, but something about the golden age of showers doesn't sit right. I doubt any will see this now as this post has been going for a while, but paleontology, the things we know now about the prehistoric world are mind-blowing. More and more is being worked out about the looks and behavior of dinosaurs and all their fellow extinct organisms. Compared to what was happening when I was a kid, we've moved on in leaps and bounds. If you haven't yet, check out Sir David and the BBC's Prehistoric World. Awesome. Entitlement. Stupid people on the internet. Hopelessness for our future. Computer/internet age. When I was a kid, the Commodore 64 came out with 64,000 bytes of memory. You could load games at home. The good ones took multiple floppy disks. Now you can ask your phone any question, have an instant map to any location, translate any language, or sit all day watching videos at home. Kids born now will grow up never knowing a computer that could not understand your speech and give instant access to anything. Narcissism. Societal collapse. Every generation since the dawn of time has felt this way. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.